on to the Everything Show, episode 494. I am your host, Matrixlord212, and I'm with Chris. What's up, Chris?
Hello, everyone.
Yeah, I wasn't going to do an Everything Show. I was about to go to bed, but then I saw that picture comparison with Doomsday looking like Abomination, and I said, Chris, let's do an Everything Show. What did you think of the trailer?
Thought it was garbage. Whole thing. Garbage. To the point where I'm not going to see the movie now. And if that's an exaggeration if people think that's an exaggeration, okay, great. I'm not going to see the movie. I don't know how else to tell people that I'm not exaggerating. That was my first reaction after seeing it last night. I was talking to one of my friends, and I'll screen cap the image if I have to. But my first words were, "I'm out."
Right.
And
I think a lot of people seeing the trailer probably felt the same way. You gave away the whole movie, basically.
Basically.
For no reason. Why would you do that? They did that with Terminator Genesis. Don't they learn?
No.
They just don't learn. Would you have wanted to be surprised?
I knew Doomsday was going to be in the movie.
Yeah, we heard. We knew.
I was hoping. I was hoping though that maybe he would show up at the end, and it wasn't really going to be like him in the movie. But, well, there you go.
It would make sense too that we're hearing other Justice League people appear in here, and now we know why. Probably because this threat is too big for them to handle. So it's like, who are you going to get? Whoever's around. It's kind of stupid how they're fighting, and then all of a sudden they have to stop fighting because Doomsday appears. It kind of makes it look really dumb.
Well, I mean, I knew that there was going to be some sort of like third party that was going to like show up and cause them to team up. But what really gets me about this movie is like they're calling it Batman versus Superman, right? And yes, we knew that they were going to stop fighting eventually, but I was kind of hoping that maybe Wonder Woman would stop them fighting.
Right.
Or maybe what I was actually hoping was that they would break out of this crossover stigma that there has to be two heroes fighting and then someone else shows up and they have to team up to. I was actually hoping that there would be a winner in this fight. And ideally, for me, it would be Superman.
Right.
Because the idea would be that you would have Superman be on like the morally correct side and Batman would be in the wrong. Because he's just going after Superman just because, right?
Right.
And in the end, you don't have Superman kill Batman or wound Batman, nothing like that. But you have him. You show that he was like the winner of the fight, and then he's explaining to Batman what he does, and then Batman explains to Superman, "Well, I'm doing the same thing, but this way, and this is why I was fighting you." And then you have Wonder Woman show up, and they kind of mediate something, and then you have Wonder Woman be the one to create the Justice League, like they did, but. In this one, it's just going to be like Batman, Superman fighting. Wonder Woman shows up after Doomsday shows up.
Now, does Wonder Woman protect Batman from the blast?
That's what it looks like.
Okay.
And if you notice in that shot, too, Superman was already trying to help Batman. So this is after they've teamed up, obviously.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm sorry. But that's not Lex Luthor. I'm sorry. That is totally not Lex Luthor. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care. That's not Lex Luthor.
I agree. I'm just at a loss for words. That, like, do you think it's okay to show the comparison with the Abomination, that guy's tweet, or should we just show the pictures individually?
You show them individually, I guess, if you want to just avoid it. But I mean, it's not a spoiler. We don't even have to put spoiler tags on this because it's in the freaking trailer. And if people think that that's a spoiler, that's not right. I mean, it's in the trailer.
Right.
I can't believe that they're marketing Batman versus Superman and they show the point where they team up. Like, yeah, we eventually know it's going to happen, but like you're supposed to keep the mystique of the fight. Like they're going to be fighting. And I was hoping that maybe Doomsday wasn't the villain in this movie. I was hoping that there was no villain, and it was just going to be Batman versus Superman fighting, and eventually they would team up at the end because they realized they were fighting, and they were fighting the same fight just on two different ends of the spectrum.
Right.
But now it's like, no, they're just going to fight Doomsday.
Yeah. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to show what this looks like here. So can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay. So we have that, and then we have that. That's Abomination. That's Doomsday. Both look, with the exception of a paint job, exactly the same. Exactly the same. How does Marvel not sue them? I mean, come on, man.
Well, this is the thing, too, that I've been seeing a lot of people saying, and it makes sense, but they're saying that, well, since Doomsday keeps adapting and evolving after each defeat, he could come back looking different. This might be his first form. He might evolve throughout the movie.
That's bull crap.
It'd be in another movie. Personally, I don't think they're going to have the first enemy that the Trinity fights not get killed.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
And let me just say this: if Doomsday becomes the villain in a Superman movie later on, how are you going to explain that it took the Trinity to fight him in the first place in his quote-unquote first form, and then in the third movie or whatever Man of Steel movie he shows up in, Superman eventually defeats him by himself? Like, okay, they might do the whole Doomsday killed Superman because he's so powerful now, but how are they going to resolve that? Or Batman and Wonder Woman going to show up in Man of Steel 3 if he's in it and help him fight him again? Is the whole Justice League going to show up this time?
It's absurd, man. This is absurd.
And you know, I'm telling you right now, I think this whole idea that this is his first form is BS. I think he might evolve throughout the movie, but I think they're going to kill him. Doomsday's just going to get killed outright.
Really?
I think so.
Holy crap, dude. That's a big revelation.
I really do, because I think this is going to be like, oh, their first triumphant victory. The
Right.
Trinity, and then eventually the Justice League will show up. Because my friend pointed out too, did you notice Darkseid soldiers are in that trailer as well?
And that kind of looks like Darkseid, doesn't it?
Not really, but I'm afraid of what
No,
Darkseid
that's
looks
not.
like now. Honestly, if Doomsday looks like
That's
that,
true.
what's Darkseid gonna look like?
Yeah.
He's just gonna be a big
I
black
like-
boulder with red eyes.
I like the picture where he looks like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. They made Doomsday look like that. That's ridiculous, man. You know what it is? Everybody wants to see it, but, you know, it's got to be a good story. It can't just be like crap.
I like
be a
how
reason.
Superman is homicidal now too.
I don't like that. What do you mean, like just killing everybody?
Yeah, I mean, jeez.
Yeah, no.
I mean, he's walking around telling Batman, "If I wanted you dead, you'd be dead already."
Yeah,
It's like,
shut
okay,
up.
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
All right.
First of all, you know that Batman made them the most money. So Batman wouldn't lose, first of all.
Oh yeah.
And that flat out, they didn't even want to have a Justice League movie because they didn't want to hurt Batman. So if they did fight, there would never be a winner, ever. Because they would never crap on one character to boost another. Even though Batman would probably...
Batman, like, this is the thing about it, though, right? In this movie, they're having Batman, like, hunt Superman down because he just thinks that he's guilty of these things that
Which is
happen.
stupid.
And
Right.
it's like, in this case, Batman should lose because he's wrong. He's in the
Batman
wrong.
but Batman never does that.
Exactly, I know. It's ridiculous.
He's never wrong. He never goes after somebody guessing like they're because that would put a damper on everybody he's ever defeated.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what if the Joker was right? I mean, it's like, you know, come on, man. Like, he never gets it wrong. And so they make Batman look stupid, by the way. So.
And why is Superman so dark?
I don't
Like,
know.
this is like one dark hero. It's supposed to be justice from the light versus justice from the dark. That's one of the interesting aspects of this fight between Batman and Superman. Here, it's just one dark hero versus the other dark hero.
I wouldn't even. I'll tell you right now, if it was me, I wouldn't even have them fight. Period. I would have
At
went
this
Man of
point.
Steel #2.
Yeah, that should have been first.
I was never for this. Just like I was never for Civil War either, if you remember.
Mm-hmm.
I felt it was a mistake, especially the Civil War comic. I didn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
And it ruined Spider-Man. So, like, and I'm a big Spider-Man nut, but and it ruined Captain America too, by the way, and everybody else. Just for the dollar value to make money, it's like there's gonna come a point in time with these comic book movies where people are gonna be like, no, that's not what Batman does. That's not what Superman does. That's not what Iron Man does. That's not what Captain America does. And they're going to put a stop to it. People are just not going to see it. And if this movie fails, it will be a nice wake-up call to DC that you shouldn't have had them fight in the first place. Nobody really wants to see. They want to see. I'm pretty sure people would have wanted to see a Superman 2.
I
Man of
did.
Steel 2. So did I.
This is why. This is why I wanted to see it.
They rushed it out.
Right. I wanted to
Rushed
see
it
Man
out.
of Steel 2 first. I wanted to see Batman versus Superman, right? But not now. I wanted them to do Man of Steel 2 because I felt that Man of Steel had so many problems
Yeah.
that they could have kind of addressed that and maybe made Superman better.
Right.
Right.
They kind of screwed up the whole franchise.
Well, and this is the thing, right? And then what they could have done was had a Batman movie maybe come out the same year as Man of Steel 2. And in the movie, you kind of have them maybe reference each other or notice each other. And then the next, like 2 years from then or a year later, you do Batman versus Superman, where it's just Batman and Superman. And then maybe Wonder Woman at the end. And then you lead that into a Justice League movie. But now it was like, this is what it was like. It was like doing Godzilla, and then in Godzilla versus Kong, you introduce Kong.
Right.
And then they fight a third monster. And then you have
Right.
Mothra show up, and it's like, oh, that's dumb. What they're doing with Godzilla is perfect.
Now-
They did Godzilla, they're doing Kong Skull Island, Godzilla 2, then Godzilla versus Kong. So they're building it up. And it's like,
Did they give him an accent,
who?
Bruce Wayne?
Not that I know of.
It
Not that I heard,
kind of
anyway.
sounds a little weird to me.
Well, when he's in the Batman suit, he's got a modulator,
Well, that's different.
which sounds really bad
When
to
he's
me.
talking as Bruce Wayne, he's like,
Oh,
yeah. Kind of sounded like, a southern accent a little bit.
well, I didn't notice that because I noticed Clark Kent being a dick, basically.
Yeah.
It's like, why is he so aggressive?
Yeah,
That's not Clark Kent. Clark
Yeah, I
Kent
know.
was supposed to be clumsy and meek and timid.
Right.
Why is he like just Superman wearing glasses?
It goes back to the same thing. They're getting the characters wrong. Completely. Batman doesn't jump the gun. He solves riddles, like with the Riddler. He solves crimes. He figures out a way to beat the villain. He knows beyond a shadow of a doubt that the villain is guilty before he goes after them. He doesn't guess, and he doesn't get it wrong.
Was that a pun, by the way? He doesn't jump the gun?
Yeah.
Could you see how many guns he had in this trailer?
So that's the whole point. That's not the Batman I know.
Mm.
That's not the Superman I know either. Okay? Besides that, like, there's other things with other characters. In the comics, you don't have Cyclops kill Professor X. You don't have Cyclops be a villain. You don't have Cyclops cheat on his wife. You don't have Wolverine be the headmaster of Jean Grey's School for Gifted Youngsters, which is weird. You don't have You don't turn Wolverine into Professor X. You don't turn Magneto into Cyclops. That's just one example that they're doing in the comics. Iron Man's not adopted. The Hulk isn't Chinese and a teenager. Captain America's not the Falcon, and Thor's not a woman. I mean, this is like too much already. Okay? Fans are going to rebel really bad very soon. I'm telling you, this is the start of it. The seeds are planted now. Fans are going to say no, and they're going to stop it. I'm telling you right now, they're going to stop it. This movie, if it doesn't make what it's supposed to make, the fans have spoken. Bottom line. They said no to the Fantastic Four movie. They're going to say no to this. Because if they don't say no, then you're going to see crap like this all the time. And I don't want to see that. I don't want to see a Spider-Man movie where Spider-Man's fighting, another hero or something. That's stupid. So, say no now before it gets too bad. Now, did you see Jessica Jones?
No.
Okay. Gonna tell you. Do you have Netflix?
I'm probably going to get it eventually.
Okay. Netflix, I'm telling you right now, that is the show to watch. Highest recommendation I give on that. Fantastic show. David Tennant, amazing. And when everybody gets to see the whole season, then I will talk about it on a show, because I don't want to give away the ending or even talk about any of the characters without everybody seeing the overall picture. So, but besides that, Wonder Woman also. Like, what is she gonna just save the day and then that's Wonder Woman? There you go.
Yeah.
Who are you? Like, she appears a little bit, right? Talking to them and stuff.
Well, she's in, like, if you watch the second trailer, right? There's a scene where it looks like she's at the same party that Bruce Wayne and Clark Kent were at the beginning of the trailer.
For Lex?
I hope not.
I heard she works for Lex because she's trying to find something that he has of Amazon thing or something.
What does he just have, like, everything?
I guess
Does
he
he have,
has
like, the
one.
Mac computer too?
I guess he has her shield, or he has a Amazonian artifact.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Maybe it's the clay that she was molded out of.
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. But yeah, I don't know about this movie. Even Civil War. I mean, Civil War, I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
But I don't want to see that movie. You can't. I understand Robert Downey Jr. is like, oh, yeah. I mean, okay. Iron Man, Tony Stark could be, but I just don't like the comic Civil War. I never liked it. And now they're doing a sequel to it next summer. Why? They're like, oh, let's have Iron Man face a different Captain America. Who cares about that? Falcon Cap fighting. There's no purpose. It's just fighting. It's just cha-ching. We need to make money. Let's just make stuff up. Oh yeah, they fight for no reason. It's like, why? When a hero appeared in another hero's book back in the day, it was a monumental event because that never really happened. Like when Wolverine was going at it with the Hulk, it's like, oh my god. When the Thing was fighting the Hulk, and then the Thing wound up getting defeated every single freaking time in the hospital, it was a big thing. But there was a purpose behind things, not just fighting for no reason.
Yeah.
Now they just, for whatever reason, this would be cool. Wouldn't it be cool if, like, we had a whole comic where there was like 1 million Thors? We'll call it Thors. And it's like, no, it wouldn't be cool because everybody's the same. Everybody has a hammer. It's boring. Just like, wouldn't it be cool if we had a comic with a whole bunch of Hulks? No, it wouldn't be cool because they're the same. It's boring. Spider-Verse, this, that. I mean, like, Spider-Verse I liked, which is cool, different things, but, like, you can't keep repeating the same crap in the comics. gets boring.
Mm.
It gets repetitive. And you can't make the characters weak. If I have no idea, like you should know about your characters, you know?
Seriously.
You shouldn't be caught like, if I wasn't reading comics lately, I started reading it now, I'd be like, oh my God, Peter Parker's a billionaire, he has more money than Tony Stark, and he has corporations and he has heroes that work for him to like pose as Spider-Man. Like, what the is that? You know? I would never recognize that comic.
Right.
What do you mean he's not in New York? Why is he in Japan? Why is he in San Francisco? I'd be like, what the hell is going on? But I've been reading it, so I know what's going on. But it's like some of this stuff will blow your mind.
That's true.
It's like, see, the Spider-Man thing makes sense because he's super intelligent. So how could he not use that brain to make money eventually? Like, come on, he's not a stupid person. So eventually he gets a clue and he builds up himself up, which makes sense because he graduated high school in like the 60s, graduated college in the 70s, got married in the 80s. I mean, come on, he got to evolve eventually. He became like a professor. He became a teacher, and it's like all this stuff happening. So the characters evolve. I understand that, but half these things that they're doing, these characters are just, I don't even know what's happening. Tony Stark did not invent the gamma bomb or even had anything to do with the gamma bomb. So I didn't want to hear it. So again, we're going to come to a point with the superhero movies where it's just not going to work. Basically. So besides that, we have, I just don't like the look of Doomsday. He looks terrible. Lex is terrible. I mean, we got some cool. There you are. Okay.
Sorry.
That's all right. Is there anything you want to add to that about these comic book movies? I mean, do you think there's anything they could do differently with this?
I didn't hear what you said just now.
No, I mean, I went on my rant about the comics and everything, but I'm saying, like, what do we need to see and what we don't? What shouldn't we see? What do you think?
I personally, I would like to see some more respect towards the source material when you're making, because I think Marvel does a pretty decent job of that. I know that there are things that they do change, but I think that for their movies anyway, which is what I care about mostly.
Right now,
Too. I think that Marvel does a pretty decent job of keeping source material and or changing things that can be changed and not ruin the story. For example, like they changed Ultron's origins, which I thought made sense in the movie because it wouldn't have made sense to have Ant-Man make Ultron because we didn't know who Ant-Man was at the time in the Marvel Cinematic Universe anyway.
Right.
Whereas a bad example of this, which I'll use a DC example, is making Superman a dark hero.
Right.
Like, it doesn't, you can't do that because that's not who Superman is. That's not what Superman is, and that's not how Superman works.
It's trying to do a Dark Knight Superman.
Right, and you can't do that because Superman is supposed to be the ray of hope and the ray of light that we're all supposed to look up to and strive to be like, and Batman's supposed to be the one that we're afraid of. Now it's like, we got to be afraid of Superman, we've got to be afraid of Batman. So who do we look up to?
Right.
In these movies, it's like it's no wonder that people didn't like Man of Steel. I liked Man of Steel. It had a lot of problems, a whole lot of problems, but I couldn't root for that Superman in that movie because he was just, to me, he was just so just depressing. Whereas the Superman that I grew up with, I used to root for him because
Christopher Reeve,
him and the '90s cartoon, the character. But at least Christopher Reeve was, whenever you saw him, there'd be hope. There was hope.
Right.
The world could be flying into the sun, and as soon as he showed up, we'd be like, we're gonna be okay.
Yeah.
But with this Superman, it's like he's gonna rip the planet apart. What are we gonna do? We gotta stop this guy. It's like,
It's like, oh, hey, there he is. We gotta go the other way because we're not gonna have a house. We're not gonna have a.
We had a good run.
It's
But
over, man.
Superman's going to destroy the planet.
Yeah, it's over now. Thanks.
Thanks for watching the podcast.
Yeah. Damn. That's depressing. Isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I think it
I mean,
is.
just this battle alone, they're probably going to destroy a couple states. So it's like, what are you going to have left? Damn. Not going to have a DC universe after this. That's upsetting. All right. Anything else? Godzilla stuff? I mean,
Not really. Although I do want to say this. I hope that whoever's going to direct Godzilla versus Kong, who's ever directed, 2 directors, 1 director, whatever, and the production companies and the writers and whoever is making this movie, the producers, I hope that they're looking at Batman versus Superman. I hope that they're looking at Civil War. And I hope that they look and they say, we're going to learn from these 2 movies. And this is what we are going to do. This is what we're not going to do. And I hope that they use Godzilla versus Kong as like a way to do something creative with a crossover movie. And I hope that it's not just the same thing. Godzilla and Kong are fighting, and then a 3rd monster shows up and they fight him. Or it, whatever. I hope that they learn from these movies and they see what the crowds like and they see what the crowds don't like, and they say, we're going to do ours differently.
right. At least we can hope so.
We can only hope. That's 5 years away. Hopefully, they look at this and they say, this is what we have to do.
Well, some of the stuff like they're filming now, like Wonder Woman, they won't know because they don't know how this is going to be. Because by the time this comes out, Wonder Woman's going to be finished already filming.
Right.
But the other ones maybe could be salvaged.
Right.
Did you hear the announcement about a Batman episodic game series?
Telltale, yeah, the same company that made the Walking Dead games and I think the Back to the Future game. They're making a Batman game. That's going to be really good. That's probably going to be amazing, to tell you the truth.
Wow, they announced that today.
Yeah, those if you have never played them,
right?
I've seen playthroughs of them. I haven't played them myself, but
well, the Back to the Future, I played. Yeah.
They're very, 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 very good. Very interesting.
Now, when is this coming out? Next year?
Most likely.
You're going to be as Bruce Wayne and Batman. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to see the Friday the 13th video game. I could see that continuing with DLCs and all that stuff, like keep going on.
Mm-hmm.
With people coming to Crystal Lake. Pretty cool games. Looking forward to. All right, guys. Have a good night. Thanks a lot, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
Take care. Bye for now.